Have you ever looked at your paycheck and thought, this will never be enough? Do you feel like no matter how hard you work, you're stuck in the same place financially, living paycheck to paycheck while others seem to unlock wealth and freedom effortlessly? You're not alone. But here's the truth. It's not about how much you earn. It's about what you do with what you earn. Most people think the path to getting rich is reserved for those with big salaries, fancy degrees, or lucky breaks. That's the lie we've been sold. But Robert Kiyosaki, the man behind Rich Dad, Poor Dad, teaches something radically different. You can get rich, even with a small salary, if you follow the right steps. When I was young, I had two fathers. One told me to study hard, get a good job, and save money. The other taught me to learn how money works, how to make it work for me, and how to build wealth, not wages. The first followed the traditional path and stayed middle class. The second, who never finished college, became one of the richest men in Hawaii. Two fathers, two mindsets, two completely different outcomes. And that's the message I want to share with you. Wealth isn't about where you start. It's about how you think and what you do next. So, if you've ever believed that your small paycheck means a small future, I'm here to challenge that. In this video, we're going to break down 8 actionable steps, the same steps that turned my life around, that I've taught to thousands, and that you can start applying today. You don't need to earn more. You need to think smarter. Let's get started. When it comes to money, most people repeat the same sentence over and over again. I can't afford that. It sounds harmless, even responsible, but it's one of the most damaging things you can say. Why? Because every time you say, I can't, you shut your brain down, you close the door, you stop looking for answers, you accept limitation as your reality. That's exactly what my poor dad used to say. Whenever I asked for something, a course, a trip, a new idea, he'd cut me off. Be realistic, we don't have the money. And just like that, the conversation was over. He wasn't trying to hold me back. He was trapped in a mindset of scarcity. One where lack was the default and opportunity was for someone else. But my rich dad taught me something different. He said, never say, I can't afford it. Instead, ask, how can I afford it? It seems like a small change, but it's everything. The first shuts your brain off. The second turns it on. It forces you to think, to create, to stretch, to grow. That's the beginning of financial intelligence, not knowing all the answers but learning to ask the right questions. When I bought my first investment property, everyone around me told me it was impossible. I didn't have the money, the experience, the connections. But instead of saying, I can't, I asked, how can I? And guess what? I found a way. Not because I had the resources, but because I had the mindset to go find them. Every time you're faced with a financial challenge, catch yourself. Instead of shutting down with, I can't, flip the switch. Ask, how can I afford this? How can I start with what I have? How can I turn this into an opportunity? That's the moment you stop thinking like the poor and start thinking like the rich. Before you invest a single dollar, invest in your mind. Most people skip this step. They chase hot tips, follow the crowd, and throw money into things they barely understand. Then, when it goes wrong, they blame the market, the economy, or bad luck. But the truth is, they were never prepared. They didn't lose money. They paid tuition to the real world because they refused to pay attention first. My rich dad told me early on, before you put your money anywhere, make sure you know what you're doing. Understand the rules of the game. Learn how money works. Learn what an asset is. Learn what a liability is. Understand cash flow. Understand how taxes work and how debt can either destroy you or make you rich. These aren't topics just for accountants or bankers. They are survival skills in the real world. School taught us algebra, Shakespeare, and historical dates, but nothing about how to manage a paycheck, grow wealth, or protect it. That's why so many smart, hardworking people are still broke. They were trained to be good employees, not financially free individuals. They know how to earn money, but not how to keep it or multiply it. Financial education is your foundation. With it, you'll stop relying on financial advisors to make decisions for you. You'll stop investing based on hope or hearsay. You'll stop being afraid of terms like interest rates, depreciation, or equity. You'll gain control, and control is freedom. Start simple. Read one book, watch one video, take one online course. Learn every day, not because it's trendy, but because your future depends on it. When you understand money, it stops being something that controls you and starts becoming something you control. And when you control money, you control your choices, your time, and ultimately, your life. That's real wealth, and it always starts in your mind. Most people think they're building wealth when they're actually digging a financial hole. They buy things that look impressive: new cars, the latest phone, a bigger house, but behind the scenes, their bank account is bleeding. Why? Because they don't understand the simple but powerful difference between an asset and a liability. It's one of the first lessons my rich dad drilled into my head. If it puts money in your pocket, it's an asset. If it takes money out, it's a liability. Simple, right? Yet, almost no one follows it. Your house isn't an asset just because it's expensive. If it costs you money every month, mortgage, taxes, maintenance, and doesn't pay you anything back, it's a liability. That fancy car? Definitely a liability. It might feel good to drive, but it depreciates the moment you leave the dealership. It's taking money from you, not making it. Now, imagine the opposite: a rental property that brings in income every month, a dividend-paying stock, a small online business that generates cash flow while you sleep. These are assets. They pay you. They buy your time back, and eventually they can replace your job income altogether. Most people are stuck in the rat race because they've filled their lives with liabilities disguised as success. They work harder to afford more things that drain them. They're chasing status, not freedom, and it's costing them their future. Wealth isn't about how much you earn, it's about what you keep, and more importantly, what you build. If you want to be rich, you need to stop collecting toys and start collecting cash-flowing assets. Every time you make a financial decision, ask yourself, will this put money in my pocket or take it out? If it's the latter, think twice. That one question can change your entire financial trajectory. Most people work just to survive. They clock in, clock out, and trade their time for a paycheck. They chase promotions, higher salaries, and job titles, thinking that's the path to financial freedom. But here's the reality. A job will pay your bills, but it won't build your future. If you want to be rich, you have to stop working just to earn and start working to learn. That's what my rich dad taught me early on. He said, "Don't work for money. Work to gain skills." At first, it didn't make sense. Why would I take a job that paid less just to learn something new? But he was right. Every job, every opportunity, is a classroom if you approach it that way. The skills you gain are far more valuable than the paycheck you collect. I once worked for free just to learn how a business was run. I learned about sales, customer psychology, inventory, marketing, and negotiation. Things school never taught me. Those skills made me millions later. That's the point. Real wealth doesn't come from labor, it comes from leverage. And you only gain leverage by learning how systems work, how money flows, and how to solve problems at scale. Look around at your current job. Are you just doing what's expected, or are you observing how the business operates? Are you learning how to lead, how to sell, how to think like an owner? Every workplace is full of lessons, if you're willing to see them. The rich don't just have money, they have knowledge. They know how to make deals, build teams, spot opportunities, and manage risk. None of that is taught in school. It's learned by doing, by failing, by watching, and by asking questions. So, if you're in a job right now, don't just show up to get paid. Show up to grow. Because the skills you gain today will be the foundation of the wealth you build tomorrow. One of the biggest financial myths is that hard work alone leads to wealth. If that were true, the hardest working people in the world would be the richest, and we both know they're not. The truth is, the rich don't get rich by working harder. They get rich by using leverage. They multiply their time, money, and results by not doing everything themselves. Leverage is about doing more with less time, less effort, less of your own money. It's about thinking bigger and smarter. While most people are stuck in the mindset of, I have to do it all myself, the wealthy ask, who can help me do this faster, better, and at scale? They understand that success doesn't come from isolation. It comes from collaboration and systems. When I started building my wealth, I didn't have all the skills or the capital, but I had the mindset. I learned how to use other people's money through smart borrowing. I partnered with people who had skills I didn't. I used tools and automation to scale businesses instead of working more hours. That's leverage. It's not about cheating. It's about being efficient. Think about this. You have 24 hours in a day. So does everyone else. You can't create more time, but you can multiply what those hours produce. If you're trying to build wealth using only your effort, you'll burn out long before you break through. But if you use the right tools, technology, outsourcing, networks, you can create results far beyond what your personal time allows. The middle class trades time for money. The rich trade strategy for freedom. Stop asking how long something will take. Start asking, how can I do this smarter? Use leverage in every area of your life and business. That's how you stop surviving and start scaling. Wealth isn't about working harder, it's about working leveraged. Most people lose the money game before they ever play it, because they've already lost in their minds. They were raised on ideas like, money is the root of all evil, rich people are greedy, or I'll never be good with money. These aren't just harmless phrases, they're mental chains. They shape how you think, how you act, and ultimately what you allow yourself to achieve. If you believe deep down that wealth is wrong or out of reach, you'll find ways to sabotage yourself, no matter how much you earn. My rich dad once told me, you'll never be richer than your mindset. And he was right. I've seen people win the lottery and end up broke. I've seen high-income earners drowning in debt. Why? Because their beliefs never changed. They had money in the bank, but poverty in their thinking. Scarcity thinking is the voice that says, there's not enough. It makes you compete, hoard, fear, and shrink. It keeps you in survival mode. But abundance thinking, that's different. It says, there's always a way. It's open, curious, creative. It sees opportunities where others see problems. It lets you take risks because you believe in your ability to recover, rebuild, and grow. Mastering your mindset doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. It means being intentional about the beliefs you carry. It means asking yourself, do I see money as a burden or a tool? Do I believe I can create value and earn well, or do I feel guilty for wanting more? You don't have to choose between being a good person and being a wealthy one. You can be generous and rich, honest and successful, kind and powerful. It's not either or, it's both. Everything starts in your mind. If you want to build real wealth, change your inner script. Upgrade your beliefs. Because the world will never give you more than what you believe you deserve. Most people wait. They wait for the perfect time, the perfect idea, the perfect paycheck. They say things like, I'll start when I earn more, or I need to learn everything first, or it's not the right moment yet. And they weight themselves right into the same place, month after month, year after year. Here's the truth. The perfect moment doesn't exist. If you wait until everything is just right, you'll never move. Wealth isn't built on waiting. It's built on action. My rich dad taught me one of the most powerful lessons early on. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to become great. Success isn't about giant leaps. It's about small, consistent steps. Read 10 pages of a book each day. Save the first $50. Invest a tiny amount. Sell one product. These seem insignificant, but they're not. They're seeds. They're momentum. And momentum is everything. Think of a snowball rolling down a hill. It starts small, but with every turn, it grows. That's how habits work. That's how results build. Starting small builds confidence. It creates wins. It shifts your identity. You stop being someone who thinks about change and become someone who acts on it. The people who succeed are not the ones who knew everything or had everything figured out. They're the ones who started when it was messy, when it was uncertain, when it felt uncomfortable. There is magic in beginning. That $10 you invest today might not change your life, but it changes your direction. That one small action tells your brain, I'm doing this. It tells the world, I'm moving. And from that moment, things start to shift. So, stop waiting. Start building. Start messy. Start scared. Start small, but start now. Because the habit of action will do more for your future than any plan you haven't put in motion. If you want to know how wealthy someone truly is, don't look at their job title or their paycheck. Look at how much money they make while they sleep. Real wealth isn't about how much you earn from working. It's about how much you earn without working. That's the power of passive income, and it's the difference between living to work and working to live. Most people are stuck in a cycle. They work, get paid, spend, repeat. The moment they stop working, the money stops flowing. That's a dangerous position to be in because life doesn't stop. Bills don't stop. But the rich, they set up systems. They build assets. They invest time, money, or skills into something once, and it pays them again and again. Think about a rental property that pays you every month, or a digital course that people buy while you sleep, a dividend-paying stock that deposits cash in your account regularly. These aren't just income streams, they're freedom streams. They buy back your time, they give you options, they allow you to stop trading hours for dollars and start designing a life on your terms. Passive income doesn't mean no effort. It takes planning. It takes upfront work. But once it's built, it becomes a machine that runs with little input. The best part? You don't need a fortune to start. You can begin with small investments, small projects, small steps. The important thing is to start building something that earns for you, even when you're not on the clock. This is the finish line of the wealth journey. Not because you stop growing, but because you finally have the time and space to live freely, to create, to give, to enjoy life on your terms. Passive income isn't just a financial goal, it's the foundation of lasting freedom. Start building it now, one brick at a time, and one day you'll wake up richer while you were still asleep. If you've made it this far, you're already ahead of most people, because most won't even take the time to think differently about money. They'll keep living paycheck to paycheck, blaming the economy, their boss, or their salary, but not you. You've chosen to learn. You've chosen to challenge the old rules. And that decision alone puts you in a different category. You've just learned the 8 steps that can transform your financial life, no matter how much you earn right now. You don't need to win the lottery, wait for a raise, or pray for a miracle. You need to act. Small steps, smart steps, consistent steps. That's how freedom is built. Remember, wealth is not about luck. It's not about being born rich. It's about mindset, education, and strategy. You don't need to do everything at once. Just start. Take one principle from today and apply it. Invest $10. Read 10 pages. Ask better questions. Build your first tiny income stream. The power is not in the information, it's in the implementation. And if this message resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Your friends, your family, your younger self, if you could. Because the only thing more powerful than financial freedom is helping someone else achieve it too. If you're ready to go deeper, to build real wealth from the ground up, keep following, keep learning, and most of all, keep moving. Your future doesn't change with a dream. It changes with a decision. You've got everything you need to get started. Now go take that first step.